chaos outside a South Loop 7-Eleven Sunday night. The crowd seen here rushing out of the store with their arms full of items, some throwing them in the air. Inside the store, aisles were ravaged and ransacked. Police say now 40 people, mostly teens, are facing misdemeanor charges as a result of the so-called teen takeover.
We haven't arrested people like that, but this group got so out of hand that we had no choice.
Alvin Jackson saw the crowd at Roosevelt and Canal grow from a few dozen to a few hundred.
Just a few kids, then it got thicker and thicker and thicker, and they kept coming and kept coming and kept coming.
Alvin says at first things appeared to be peaceful. Then a small group of teenagers started to block traffic and attempt to break into stores.
Throwing the bottles, jumping on people's cars, trying to start fights, and trying to run into stores and stuff like that.
Police say once the crowd got out of hand, officers had no choice but to make arrests.
Well, you better do something.
Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson opening up on everything from the migrant crisis to teen takeovers.
Since he took office in May, he hasn't fielded questions from reporters very often. Among those asking them today, CBS 2 political investigator Dana Kozlov. And Dana, Mayor Johnson spent about an hour talking with the press.
Yeah, Jim and Marie, and the most recent incident of teenagers and young adults converging and overwhelming in one area of the city was a big topic of conversation. It just happened this past weekend, and in that instance, they caused a lot of damage. The mayor responded this way, though, when someone characterized it as mob action.
That's not appropriate. We're not talking about mob actions. I didn't say that. Hold on a second, okay? Respectfully, these large gatherings, just hold on a second, y'all. I promise you, we have time to talk. It's important that we speak of these dynamics in an appropriate way. This is not to obfuscate what is actually taking place.
This was the scene near Roosevelt and Canal Sunday night. Groups looted a convenience store. More than 36 teenagers were arrested, along with a 12-year-old and at least one 20-year-old. Store owners say it was the second such incident in that area in just the past few weeks. And today, Mayor Johnson commended Chicago police for the way they handled it.
If we don't hold people accountable, if we don't hold the kids accountable, the parents accountable, again, if they're out there in the streets and they're 15 years old and they're tearing stuff up, looting, burning stuff down, yeah, the parents also need to be held accountable. And again, man, you hold the kids and the parents accountable, guess what? I guarantee you it will change. But again, if you don't hold people accountable for what they do, you're going to create entitlement. Again, people are going to feel justified to do whatever. They're going to feel justified for tearing stuff up, blaming everyone else for their issues. And again, you think it's inappropriate to call groups of kids that do this kind of stuff mobs, thugs. And again, you can't say that. If you do, well, that's wrong. You shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be saying that about the poor kids. And again, man, if you don't hold these kids accountable, which actually is a loving thing to do, because again, they're going to wind up in prison. If you don't hold them accountable for what they're doing wrong now, they're going to wind up in prison. They're going to wind up throwing their lives away. Again, that's one of the problems in the homes. Again, the parents don't love their kids enough to tell them no. They don't. They don't love them enough to tell them stop the shit. Stop the behavior. And again, that's why it's spilling out into the streets. Because they're blaming everyone else for their issues. Because again, that's what mama taught them. Again, you're not to blame, baby. Everybody else is to blame. No, you're to blame. You're to blame for what you do. And again, we got to start holding people accountable. And then it will change. I guarantee you it will change. But again, you're going to have to start holding people accountable, including the kids.
Now to the shooting death of Jayla Vrana. The 16-year-old was shot and killed overnight in an Englewood park. Unfortunately, her death is one of many recently involving kids and gunfire.
In 2020, more kids died by gunfire in the U.S. than in car crashes for the first time ever. CBS 2 investigator Megan Hickey is digging into the numbers. Megan, you found gunfire deaths among kids is on the rise.
Right, Joe and Erica, the CBS 2 investigators looked at fatal shooting data for the 19 and under age group, and unfortunately, we found an uptick. Researchers across the country tell me they're seeing it too. Teenagers gunned down in public. A 16-year-old boy walking down the sidewalk in Austin shot in a drive-by shooting around 9:30 Monday evening. Less than an hour later,
15 rounds in the street. It's a moving shooter in high capacity.
Another drive-by, this time in Englewood. A 15-year-old girl was hit in the arm. A 16-year-old girl shot in the back.
She was one gunshot, one to the back, one to the elbow. Tourniquet was applied to the elbow. She's not looking good over here.
The 16-year-old did not survive. Children have long been impacted by the cycle of gun violence in their communities, but this summer the numbers are ticking slightly up. Take a look.
You know, right now, guys, we gotta be honest, man. Nobody holds these kids accountable for anything they do. I mean, they really don't. You know, again, they're out there killing each other in large numbers. Again, it's increasing, they say again. And, you know, again, they don't care. Nobody cares enough for these kids to tell them the truth. They're the ones doing it to themselves. Again, and they're out there killing each other through guns obtained illegally, for the most part. Man, these guns, again, they're not going into gun shops, gun stores, and buying them through illegal means. They're not doing that. For the most part, these guns are not obtained legally. So again, you can blame gun violence for whatever you want to blame, but the problem is morals. Again, we have a huge moral crisis in this country, and especially in cities like Chicago. And again, man, look at the homes. You know, again, over 70% of black families are headed by a single woman, not a father. Again, we have got to understand that. And again, man, we know that the majority of people in prison came from homes without dads. So again, we know there's a big connection there. And again, man, if you're raised by a single mother who, who's on welfare, mad at the system, mad at whatever, mad at the white man, mad at whoever, blames whoever for her situation, even though there's full equality under the law. She's blaming everyone else for issues except for herself. Again, nobody looks in the mirror. So the kids, they end up going out and behaving the same way as mama. They believe everyone else is to blame for their lives. And again, the only ones to blame are themselves. Then you have people like the mayor of Chicago, that Brandon Johnson, whatever the guy's name is. You have him who doesn't want to even hold the kids accountable. He's like, don't call the kids thugs. Don't call them, mobs. Again, they have no opportunities. You can't blame the kids. Look, man, all you're doing is making the problem worse. You're further entitling those kids to behave whatever way they want to behave. You're not holding them accountable for their own actions. And the problem in Chicago is going to get worse. And you're fanning those flames. You're making it worse because you're not holding them accountable. And again, right now, there's full equality under the law. And there has been for many years. And again, the only way that you're going to have access to whatever is to apply yourself. That's it. No matter what color you are.
You son of a.